insecurity situation in Nigeria that has turned Nigerian a sprawling, crimson field of bloodbath, of pains, of agony, of pangs, of fear, fear of death, fear of fear, indeed of death. That's never, ever, ever been so bad in Nigeria since her amalgamation on the 1st of January 1914 by Lord Lugard, when he amalgamated northern and southern protectorates to found what today we call Nigeria, which to me is still a contraction, waiting for nationhood, waiting for unity. Remember, I always say we should not forget the past, because the past helps us to shape the present and then helps us to peer into the future, like Nostradamus, the man who saw tomorrow. So that we do not forget, like the Bourbons of Europe, nothing and forgot nothing, leading to the formation of the United Nations Organization in 1948 because of the destruction of the twin cities of Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, through the atomic bomb, after the failure of the League of Nations, formed in 1990 after the Versailles Treaty in France. Why do I go a little like this into history? When President Muhammadu Buhari, then as General Muhammadu Buhari, was running for elections in 2014 for the presidency of Nigeria, he told Nigerians that he would lead from the front. He had 3 cardinal programs: better economy, leading from the front to deal a death blow on insecurity, and then to conquer corruption, at least reduce it maximally, even if not totally destroyed. With all respect, and records are there, statistics are there, Mr. President has failed abysmally on all 3 counts. Today, we are discussing insecurity. In 2014, 2015, yes, there was insecurity in Borno State, in Northeast, particularly Borno State, which was why on the 18th to 19th of April 2014, I remember I was then at the national conference with 492 other distinguished Nigerians from all strata of life, national conference, whose over 600 recommendations have never been touched with a 10-foot pole by this government. We were at the conference when it was announced that about 276 girls had been abducted from a secondary school in Chibok, in Borno State. Of these 276, only about 126 or 126 or there about 116 have been gotten back. The others, till tomorrow, nobody knows where they are. But there was security so much that the presidential elections could hold in Borno State. And Mr. President was said to have won there resoundingly. But ask any person who comes from Borno State, they will tell you that you should forget about this government propaganda in newspapers, social media, and the orthodox media, that there's security. That many of the areas have actually been taken over and occupied by Boko Haram insurgents including places like Niger State, Kaduna, Benue, Plateau State, all over the country. That was why Dapchi, another secondary school in Yobe State, over 116 girls were abducted. Of them, about 110 were reclaimed. 6 are still missing, including that beautiful daughter of ours, of Nigeria, Shaibu.
Leah Sharibu.
Till tomorrow, she has not been delivered. Sharibu, till tomorrow, has not been delivered. They said because she refused to recant her faith in Christianity. We were here before this new one. The new one is, before this one, there was Kagara, I think Kagara, in Katsina State. About 300.
You were still commenting on the security situation in the country and the abduction of boarding students across the country, particularly in the northern part of Nigeria. If you may just go ahead.
Yes, I was saying it was in Kankara, Katsina State, that about 300 students were abducted. And within 48 to maybe within 36 to 48 hours, the students were gotten back. We were told that huge sums of money were paid as ransom. But the government, as opaque as ever, without transparency and accountability, would never let Nigerians know how much was paid, and if indeed ransom was paid. After Kankara, we now have this Kagara, where 27 students were abducted from their school, including 8 members of staff, and and their families. So if you add all of them up till now, you will see that about 721 people, students, have so far been abducted in the last 6 years, with many of them never seen. Where are the Chibok girls? Are they married out? Are they still alive? Are they now women? That is those who have not been found. These are children of family who are still grieving. So it is therefore clear that whereas it was only Boko Haram that was mostly the problem by 2014, today the problems have since escalated geometrically, not arithmetically, from Boko Haram to deadly murderous herdsmen to vampirous kidnappers to dangerous armed bandits to armed robbers. Everywhere in Nigeria is suddenly becoming unsafe. The air is not even safe. We just heard that a police aircraft just crashed near Abuja airport. If you don't die in the air, you die on 13, because the government does not even have the equipment, necessary equipment. Vaccine is still a far cry from us, where Americans is vaccinating over 2 million people per day. If we don't die from COVID-19, herdsmen will kill us, our wives, our family, our mothers, our daughters, and rape them in our farms and at times in our homes. If we escape that, armed bandits will waylay us in our homes. If we escape that, dangerous kidnappers will abduct us along the highways. So Nigeria has become a very, very unsafe haven. And this is very sad. This is quite sad, because the core areas of Mr. President, he has not delivered on any of them at all.
Well, Dr.
Is it economy? It is, yes.
If I may come in here. Okay, I mean, I get the point you are trying to make. But I mentioned that the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, said, look, this is not something that the state alone can handle. This is not something that the military alone can address, and that it may take us 20 years before we can solve this problem, and that the people themselves have a role to play. The Minister of Defense, General Magashi, has also been quoted as saying that people should stop being cowardly, that they should defend themselves. That's one solution that has been offered. The National Security Advisor has also been quoted as saying that, look, the best approach is whole of society approach, whole of government approach, which means that we can't keep blaming government. All of us are part of this solution, and we must each play our parts. What do you think?
Yeah, that is why we have been clamoring. I particularly, in the 2005 National Political Conference, in the Vision 2009 Conference, and in the 2014 National Conference, all of which I was a member, I have clamored again and again that we must have state police, we must also have community policing. We must have not just the federal government police force set up in sections 214, 215, and 216 of the 1999 Constitution, but that like you have in America, where you have the FBI, the CIA, the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police, the New York Police Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, then you have state police, then you have local government police, what they call county council, even tertiary institutions have their own police force. The result is that there is a synergy between all of them to tackle insecurity. That is why I believe that we must have not just the federal police at the top, we must have state police, we must have local government police at the 374 local government areas in 774 local government areas in Nigeria, and we must have what we call community policing. That is what Nigerians have started doing. For example, in the southwest, you have Amotekun, which literally means leopard. In the southeast, you now have Eastern Nigeria Network, and many of them across Nigeria. This is because I want to agree with them that the government not only cannot provide security, but has abysmally failed to provide security. Look, it's Section 14 of the Constitution. The primary purpose of government is to provide security and welfare for the citizens. But where a government rigs its hands and washes his hands, like Pontius Pilate will or did over the death of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, then there is a problem. I do agree that the community themselves should join. But that is no license, that is no guarantee, that is no advocacy. The government should abdicate its own duty. Did you not see one position, one video going viral, where one sheikh was negotiating with Boko Haram insurgents, giving them bundles of money, whilst Nigerian soldiers were drinking Gary, soaked Gary with palm kernel? Is that how to fight the war? What of all the trillions of naira pumped into this insurgency since 2015? Where has the money gone down to? So if the government simply just says the people should now take up arms, they are kind of, a government itself is not recommending that the people should take up arms. For God's sake, then give everybody arms. Like the Igbos will tell Chief Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu when there was program, excuse me, against them in the north. They said, Ojukwu, Nyemegbe, give us guns. So give Nigerians, all Nigerians, guns, so that every Nigerian will know he's licensed to carry a gun. When power means power, when force, they will be equal and balanced. But when you have one group carrying AK rifles, for example, terrorizing innocent people, unarmed people, driving them out of their farms, and their farm produce being eaten up by cows, and cows are being valued more than human beings, then there's a problem.
Well, Dr. SH0CKING, on that note, there is a problem. Many Nigerians will agree with you. We'll take a short break. When we return, I would like to ask you, some people have been saying there is need to declare a state of emergency in Niger State and some other states of the Federation, and what your opinion is in that regard. We'll be right back. You're still watching This Day Live, the Sunday Talk Show. Welcome back to This Day Live, the Sunday Talk Show here on the Arise News Channel. Our guest is still Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Michael Zekome, SAN, the Akpava Vigivigi of Edo Kingdom. Well, Dr. Zekome, thank you for staying with us. I was told you had an up-NEPA situation at your end, but I'd asked you, does the President of Nigeria, under the Constitution, have unilateral powers of declaring a state of emergency, either in Niger State or elsewhere, as has been advocated by some members of the National Assembly?
No, he cannot. Under Section 305 of the Constitution, he must go to the Senate to give him powers to declare a state of emergency. And even when he's given such powers for a limited period of time, which must be stated, and the reasons must be given, even then, he does not have the power, for example, to remove a governor, as a former president once did to governors of Ekiti State and Plateau State. That was highly unconstitutional. And don't forget that it was a state of emergency declaration that brought about the crisis in the Western region, which finally dovetailed into the coup that came on the 15th of January 1966, led by Major Kaduna Nzogu Chukwuma and other young military officers. So he cannot unilaterally do that. But then, in declaring a state of emergency, we must look at the imperatives. Is it necessary? Is it not necessary? I think we have even gone more than declaring a state of emergency. I was kidnapped on the 22nd of August, 2013. I was released by my kidnappers on the 12th of September, 2013. And I came out with 7 blueprints for the government. 3 of them were that the government emergency on insecurity. The government should declare a state of emergency on infrastructural decay. That was 2. And that the government should declare a state of emergency on youth unemployment. There were 3 of the key 7 demands I made of the government after seeing death, and I was delivered by God, woken up from the dead like Lazarus by Jesus Christ. Did the government listen to me? Some say, oh, he is saying not because he was suffering from what you call the Stockholm syndrome, a syndrome where you begin to empathize with the people who are terrorizing you. I said, no. It was based on what I saw, what I had, what I saw, what I witnessed, that these things must be done. That was about 8 years ago. So what I saw 8 years ago, like Nostradamus, the man who saw tomorrow, is what they are finally saying 8 years later. Because we have been sleeping, or at best, walking somnambulistically. What Ayikwe Ama, in his epic, The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, we call the living dead or the walking corpses. This government must wake up to its responsibility. It must know that the people voted for it to take care of their welfare and provide security for them and give them democracy dividends, not to complain. So when I hear government officials still complaining about past government, the Jonathan government, and other past government, Yar'Adua, Obasanjo, I not only laugh, I goof up. You were elected into office not to do damage assessment, but to contribute your own quota and move Nigeria forward. Didn't you see what Obama did after he took over from George Bush Jr.? He went full scale, brought Obamacare, and started healing America.
Thank you so much, my wonderful viewers, for watching this video together with me from the beginning to the end. Like I said before, if you like what you see here, if you like what I do in this platform, as you have finished watching this video, please hit that red button that says subscribe and put on your notification bell to all notification. In that way, you'll be able to know when I upload a new video. Share my videos, leave your comments in the comment section constructively. Until I meet your way again in my next video, I still remain your Linda's TV show. Bye-bye.